Hello everybody. The 72nd budget of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka was read in Parliament by the Honourable Minister of Finance and Mass Media few hours back. We wish to bring you a quick snapshot of the key proposals presented in the Parliament by the Honourable Minister. The Honourable Minister mentioned that this year's theme for the budget is Blue-Green Budget and also referred to it as an enterprise budget. Prior to commencing the budget proper, he also emphasized the need for liberalization and that some of the archaic laws in Sri Lanka will be amended and new laws will be introduced. As per the Finance Minister, the list of legislations to be revamped includes Customs Ordinance, Excise Ordinance, Rent Act, Education Ordinance, labour laws including Shop and Office Employees Act, and bankruptcy laws. As anticipated prior to the budget, relief has been granted to electric vehicles in the form of import duty relief. This is one of the aspects of the Blue-Green Budget. The vision is to ensure that all vehicles in the country will be electric or hybrid by 2040. All government vehicles will be electric or hybrid by 2025. Let's have a quick look at the duty rates applicable on electric vehicles. The new rates applicable on brand new vehicle will range from 7,500 rupees per kilowatt to 40,000 rupees per kilowatt. In case of used vehicles, the range will commence from 15,000 rupees per kilowatt to 55,000 rupees per kilowatt. In order to incentivize the use of electric three-wheelers, the excise duty applicable on electric three-wheelers will see a decrease, whereas duty applicable on petrol and diesel three-wheelers will be increased. In addition, the importers of electric vehicles will be further incentivized by favorable loan-to-value ratio. Government will permit funding of electric vehicles by way of 90% loan and the importer to fund 10% of the value. Incentives will be granted for establishing more charging stations for electric vehicles. It was proposed to change the excise duty base. In case of petrol and diesel motor vehicles, it will be on the engine capacity, and in the case of electric vehicles, it will be the motor power of the engine. Excise duty on ad valorem rates will be discontinued. Economic service charge based for imported motor vehicles will be revised. The current luxury tax on motor vehicles, which is payable over a period of 7 years, will continue for the vehicles that are already registered. However, for new vehicles, the luxury tax will be one-off payment depending on the engine capacity or motor power of the vehicle. Budget also contained proposals in relation to vehicle permits for public sector employees. The changes include the removal of the upper ceiling of the CIF value and most importantly, the removal of the current restriction on transferability. What is commonly called a sugar tax has been introduced in the form of imposition of excise duty on beverages with added sugar. The rate will be 50 cents per gram of sugar. This increased levy will only be on beverages with added sugar and not on the other products. This is introduced as a measure to reduce obesity and diabetes, especially among children. Another new tax that has been introduced in the budget is the carbon tax on motor vehicles. Depending on the age and the fuel type of the vehicle, carbon tax will be applicable on petrol and diesel vehicles. This levy will not be applicable on electric vehicles. The rate will depend on whether the vehicle is less than 5 years, between 5 to 10 years, or more than 10 years, and the type of the vehicle. A hybrid vehicle less than 5 years will attract 25% per cubic centimeter. This worked out to 375 rupees if the engine capacity is 1500 cc. The concept of carbon tax is common in many countries such as South Africa, Norway, Denmark, Ireland, India, but the mechanism varies and is not necessarily on motor vehicles. Going forward, the mobile tower operators will be called upon to pay a new levy called cellular tower levy at the rate of 2 lakhs per month per tower. The telecom industry has been imposed with a new levy called SMS advertising levy as well. This levy will be applicable on bulk SMS advertising. The advertiser will be called upon to pay 25 cents per SMS. The budget proposals also address the beer and the liquor industry. Canned beer will see an elimination of applicable excise duty. Further, NBT currently applicable at the point of importation will also be removed. To promote tourism, the issuance of liquor licenses will be simplified. There will be a simplification of the rate structure applicable on liquor licenses as well. Non-potable alcohol will witness an imposition of excise duty at the rate of 15 rupees per kilogram. Hard liquor, beer and wine will also see a change with regard to the application of excise duty. At present, residential accommodation is free of VAT, but leasing of residential accommodation is liable for VAT. Going forward, the VAT exemption applicable on sale of condominium housing units will be removed and therefore will be liable for VAT. In order to reduce the multitude of exemptions in the current VAT Act, a series of goods which are currently out of the VAT net will now be subject to VAT. This includes electronic goods, cameras and watches. At present, in the shipping and freight forwarding industry, foreign participation is restricted to 40% in a company, while foreigners cannot open a branch to engage in shipping and freight forwarding. This restriction on foreign ownership will be removed, permitting foreigners to freely invest in the shipping and freight forwarding industry in Sri Lanka. The cutting, polishing and re-exporting of gems have been incentivized by removal of NBT applicable at the point of importation. A 1% tax will be imposed on the commission derived by online travel agents to create level playing field between the formal and informal sector. The financial institutions will witness the introduction of a new levy called the Debt Repayment Levy. This levy will be charged at 0.02% on the total cash transactions but will be payable by the financial institution. The levy will be imposed for 3 years and the revenue collected will be utilized to repay international sovereign bonds and debt payments. Stay tuned for more KPMG analysis on the budget 2018.